Boom. What's up, guys?
What's up, Alice?
What's up?
How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. I don't have much to complain about. Except I was wrong. Tyler was right.
Tyler nailed Bitcoin
I got
57
close.
plus
I
months.
didn't nail it. Like
Yeah, it was a great call though.
there's more buyers than we thought. There's either more buyers than we thought, or the buyers that are here have not finished buying yet.
I just want to say Zcash and Link are both up, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
Oh man, Zcash is like I just keep getting bullish news like randomly that's like low key, nobody's talking about it, but it just seems so bullish for Zcash. I mean, like I'm in all these like fringe channels and like announcement channels, not actually communities, and so I can just like get my take on these things instead of like listening to other people. And it seems like they're trying to implement Zcash smart contracts on Tezos, and Vitalik's like leading the push to like help the electric coin company. And it looks like Vitalik's about to like carry Zcash, since Zuko's done such a poor job.
Well, the Tim Ferriss podcast that I listened to with Vitalik, he was definitely talking about Zuko and like just how like Zuko is an OG and how Zcash is like one of those particularly like has a very specific use case that's good for the community. So it was interesting to see. But in general, that's what Vitalik's all about. You know, I don't think he's your Bill Wang sort of guy. He's much more charitable. Let's just say. Anyway, yeah. Does what do you guys think about Bitcoin? Where we at? Where are we going from here?
I mean, we're above resistance.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positive energy. So I think we're going up from here. I could still see a lot of, between 60 and 67, a lot of continued consolidation and also maybe some kind of new buyers and then some like pretty heavy resistance, whether it's like above 65, under 75. I don't know exactly where, but yeah, but I think we go up. There's just a lot of positive energy in the news, a lot of momentum. Why wouldn't you be buying Bitcoin right now?
Because alts are so much better.
Well, I think we go and we test like 63, 64, like in that area, but I hope we chop. That would be that'd be the most ideal thing. Or
The way
would it
I'm looking
not
at
be?
it,
Would the most ideal thing actually be Bitcoin finishes its last leg for this part of the cycle and lets alts really, have that firepower, because that's when alts run is on Bitcoin's last leg of the cycle.
yeah. So like today's April 1st, literally the first day of Q2. April has historically been a pretty strong month for alts. And I think Bitcoin is kind of chopped. It's kind of a neutral month for Bitcoin. So I would be in favor of chop. You know, that would be really wonderful for me. That being said, if this is the kind of blow off the top for like basically get the wick in for the quarter and then start selling off or whatever, I think from what I'm gathering is like when you say like who wouldn't buy Bitcoin, it's like the opportunity this month seems to be in alts, at least on my feed, at least kind of historically speaking, in terms of setups. Everything I'm seeing is just very much long your longs, go into alts heavy, and then pretty much by the end of the month, or maybe stretching into May. There's that old adage, sell in May and go away. And I think, that's not necessarily true in traditional markets anymore, but I think it'll likely be true in crypto markets because it's a much more immature market, let's just say. So yeah, I think I would love to see Bitcoin kind of just chop around here, but if it does start rallying to 75 or whatever, that would be welcome too. I think if it does, then I think alts are going to just go crazy on a USD basis.
Well, just real quick, somebody proposed an idea that I thought was pretty novel. It was just kind of like, what if this part of the cycle there is no blow off the top? Like what if somebody with big enough money's in to where he can or she can keep the price, somewhat relatively in a band. And instead of there being a blow off the top wick in this, relative short-term cycle, that like we actually don't see a blow off the top until way later in the year. And I was like, everybody's looking for that blow off the tops like signal to let them know like what's the deal with the market, and it's like, well, if we don't get one, that could lead to like very interesting market conditions to where everybody's still focused on Bitcoin and, DeFi, alts, Polkadot ecosystem, things could really flourish because only the people in the know and the true community people are involved. Whereas like your scalpers are still in Bitcoin futures and leverage trying to wait on that blow off the top.
Well, if there was a situation like that and there was a player that was large enough to play both sides and to keep the water in the river, because that would be most beneficial. It could only be like one. It could only be like 5 at the most, 5 people or 5 parties. Who could it be? CCP?
I was having some microphone issues or internet issues, so I couldn't hear everything you said, Tyler. But you're saying something about somebody that just keeps it in a band going up, essentially.
Just in a band, like there's no blow off the top wick. So there's no signal for scalpers and future traders and leverage traders that like Bitcoin's done, move into cash, or let's move into Polkadot ecosystem, or let's move into to Zcash, because they're people are waiting on this blow off the top wick and with Bitcoin, and it like, what if it just doesn't happen until later this year is all I was saying. Like, what does that do for the market? What does that do for all these ecosystems with communities? It gives them a chance to actually grow without like scalpers coming in and like running the price up and crashing it. I don't know. It was just an interesting thought.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good perspective to take in the sense that, I firmly believe we're in like a 3-year bull market. So it is important to take a longer term perspective. We're not going to nail everything along the way, but I think we're in a longer term bull market than we have seen in the past. And so that would make sense to me. I struggle to think that we'll just continue to go up. But yeah, if we just bounce off like a channel, let's just say, and just continue to ride that up, or like a pitchfork, let's just say. Yeah, I could get down with that. That would make sense to me. That being said, if we don't make new highs, if we don't clear 60K in the next, call it, few days to a week, which would be pretty surprising, I think we're in for a pretty major correction. Like if we don't really clear 60, let's just call it 60 to 63, if we don't clear that region, that would be pretty bearish, because I'm kind of seeing a potential for like a completed market cycle from the start of, or from like October of last year. I'm seeing 7 waves, and right now, right at 58, 59K, we just got a pretty big doji on the dollar, or on the daily close yesterday, which signifies a lot of uncertainty in the market. And it kind of coincides with like wave 9, which would be a retest of the high set in wave 7, which would then lead to a sell-off, like a ABC correction wave, if you follow Elliott Wave theory or anything like that. So that's definitely something that I'm looking at, and kind of something that I'm leaning towards, kind of in terms of the chop, just kind of consolidate here for Bitcoin. And that would really allow alts to go crazy. And that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Seems like we're all having technical difficulties today.
It is April Fool's Day.
I feel like Bitcoin broke the Elliott Wave though, like on the 20, like when we bottomed out on the 25th. Like I feel like it, like. Like what if we went from an Elliott Wave into an accumulation cylinder?
I mean, I'm just looking at a weekly chart now where we broke through consolidation towards the middle of October. And it's just been up only, like there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like maybe six weekly candles that closed bearish, but then were immediately succeeded by bullish continuation. And so, I welcome chop. I would love to see some consolidation here. But if we could keep going up, like.
Hey, can one of you guys throw up a chart?
I get it. It's a little messy, but. This purple line right here is the 3.618 extension. So I'm just going to delete that. But yeah, this actually this one is probably what I'm looking at more. So yeah, I mean, like just we're kind of in this kind of resistance area. We broke off up here, immediately sold off, retested, sold off. We're retesting it right now. And then this is that doji that I was saying. Just a good bit of indecision. Doesn't mean that it's going to be resistance or whatever, it's a top, but it's just indecision in the market right now. So if we start clearing this, start clearing 60K or so, that would be pretty strong. We've already tested this 1, 2, 3, kind of 4 times. So this resistance level is weakening in my mind. So if we close above it, that's a bullish continuation. But, it's been since February, and the end of February, we touched the Kijun. And, that kind of acts as a magnet for price as well. So yeah,
So
that's where I'm at.
I got a couple questions. Can you guys hear me okay? First of all?
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing is like with all of the money flowing in, you know, like you were saying earlier, Ro, alts are looking good. But with Bitcoin, you know, that's where like the headlines are, where corporations are flowing into. You know, they have custodial services pretty well established around that. What is the access that these corporations have to Ethereum and the majors and then more like alt stuff? Like, because for us, when I say us, I mean like the retail investor, maybe more established, you know, like, you know, institutional kind of means like some of these bigger players that are paying these high prices and coming in now. But somewhere in between, maybe some like OG traders and people who are kind of more mature in the markets. I mean, once you get into any exchange, you can go from Bitcoin into anything you want. Is it the same for these institutions and these corporations that are coming in now? You know, Tesla, for example, they come in, they put, you know, over $1 billion on their balance sheet, right, of Bitcoin. So is all that staying in Bitcoin? Or, I mean, because, you know, if they were being responsible and working with a, you know, an established crypto firm that's advising clients, they're probably going to say, oh, well, you've got so much Bitcoin that you may want to diversify or, you know, even just responsibly allocate into some other coins. Where are we in like the regulatory environment for that? Like, is that even possible, or is that as easy for them as it is for us? And if so, they're probably already doing it, right?
Yeah, I would say to that, like, just think about how we did it historically. What we did was we bought a bunch of Bitcoin, or we had a bunch of Bitcoin, and then we used that to go into alts. And I think we'll see the same thing. It's so crazy. Just, you know, it's been a month or so now, but like, just to see the same conversations we had replayed on CNBC. You know, it's wild to see history kind of, again, not repeat itself but rhyme, and this time it's on CNBC. Again, these are the same conversations that all of us had all those years ago. And I think, you know, all of these investors, yeah, they might be a little bit more sophisticated, institutional investors, but they'll have the same sort of limitations and hesitations when it comes to crypto. And you know, when you have so much money that's flowing into crypto, you I think it starts with Bitcoin, and that kind of makes sense to me. Why we saw this historic price movement, like, you know, like, this is a meteoric rise, and it's very much attributed to, I think, institutional players buying Bitcoin, and now that they have some, you know, it would make sense for them to diversify into other crypto assets. Although I think U.S. dollar prices, U.S. dollar asset, U.S. dollar alts, alt prices are going to be more influential going forward. Just because I think a lot of these guys will be buying and holding Bitcoin for the long term, you know, as part of their treasury or what. So they're not going to necessarily be trading on a BTC pair, just because that's never been their basis. I don't know if that answered your question or it was just me rambling.
I think that, like, you got a mixed bag. I think you've got, like, a lot of these larger corporations have shareholders, and in the past, you know, with having fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders, it was irresponsible to buy Bitcoin. It was such a volatile asset. And now, you know, you've probably got shareholders begging the trustees of company treasuries to buy Bitcoin. And I could see some of those same board meetings and some of those same shareholder meetings where they're begging, hey, let's buy F. Hey, let's buy Polkadot. Hey, let's buy Kusama. Hey, let's buy, let's buy all these things. Kind of like how, we are when we're looking at new bags that are dropping on the market before anybody else has heard about them. And I think that for a lot of these companies, they're just going to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet and they're not going to diversify into ETH because of the regulatory cost on top of the acquisition, OTC, commission fees. It's costly, even though diversification is responsible. But I do think that there will be instances where it does happen. And I think those guys are going to look like the smartest guys in the room. The guys that went from Bitcoin to Ethereum and held on to Ethereum. Because with all of these EIPs coming out, you've got Bitcoin with a cap supply. Ethereum has a depreciating supply. So which one has more? Like Ethereum's going to go down in supply, not up. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to happen. What I'm worried about though is when all of these countries and start coming down hard on Bitcoin during probably like May, June, July, and all these corporations announce that they sold in the 50s or in the 60s, and they're trying to look like they were smart, and that they got out and that they made a whole bunch of money, and it's just a Ponzi scheme, and I think that there's going to be a period where that happens. It's kind of like what Ro talked about earlier, looking at the Bitcoin chart, like, listening to Daniel, Crypto Messiah, he like talks about, he thinks we're going to 36 and Ethereum's going to pump while we're going to 36. That seems so unlikely that both of those happen simultaneously, but it does seem likely that Bitcoin's going to see some pain in the next few months.
I can't wait. That sounds good to me. We like the swings, and everybody's got that mentality right now. Just, you can buy anything you want, and it's all going up. And on bad days, everything goes down, but the rest of the time, everything just goes up. Just pick your ride. But I think that those corrections and consolidation periods are really, really good and really, really healthy, because it does kind of separate the people who just kind of, they caught their eye like a shiny object, and then the people who have had their eye on it, like, like a nice coat that you want through the window, and you just, you keep that in the back of your mind, you work towards it. And I think like that's a lot of the way that we look at it, as kind of an accumulation and a compounding type approach. And so I think we've thrown it around before, but if 36, we're buyers of Bitcoin, right?
All in. Like I would probably be in favor of liquidating most of our alts if Bitcoin gets to 36.
I think that depends on how many Bitcoin we can get for those alts at 36.
Fair. But I would imagine, like, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, May 15th rolls around, or what is it, May 17th, which was the tax extension date. Let's just say May 17th rolls around, Bitcoin's sold off dramatically, and alts have pumped. Like we get that. That's the scenario. It's not the blow off the top that causes alts to pump. It's Bitcoin pausing and actually retracing a little bit, and still new money is flowing in, but specifically into alts. If we get that scenario, and like all the alt BTC pairs are rallying or have rallied significantly, then yeah, I would be in favor of trimming a lot of our exposure. because alts are always kind of, especially when trading on a BTC pair, most alts just lose value relative to BTC, and some really just ping pong back and forth between in a range, gaining value in USD, but really just kind of staying the same on a BTC basis. So I would probably be in favor of being a little bit more conservative and trying to kind of just reset what we really want to be positioned to. Probably take some very specific, maybe timing or positional plays, and kind of go from there.
Rose, since you got your screen out, will you throw up a Doge chart?
That's Doge BTC.
Yeah, just maybe a week chart, a week timeline, or just by hour wick.
Hey, can you overlay a Kusama chart on this? Because the other day Doge was the only thing that was outperforming Kusama lately. But ever since Grayscale made some announcement, dude, that thing went crazy.
Well, that's a Kusama chart, so it's not going to really do anything. But
zoom out. There you go. Yeah, so when I looked at it the other day, it was where Doge is on 2. I was like, dang, Doge outperformed KSM. And then Barry said something, and it went crazy. It made me hate selling it.
Yeah, KSM is doing wonders.
All right, you can take it off. I just wanted to see what it looks like right now.
So, Elon, it is April 1st today. And I didn't really know this, but apparently April 1st is also Happy Doge Day.
No.
I saw something trending on Twitter about Doge Day.
I don't know what's going on, but Elon tweeted SpaceX is putting a literal Dogecoin on the literal moon. And if you look at the price action in the last 12 hours, if you zoom in and just probably look at it on a USD pair for simplicity.
I need to go double my Doge stack real quick.
Market buy, dude. Market buy.
Look at that. Why? I mean, why? What's he doing?
I don't know. Just part of me just is waiting for this to dump back to 1 cent. Yeah,
yeah.
But
but it could also go the other way.
There you go. That does not look good.
Well, not if you draw it like that.
I don't know. That's not terrible. Yeah. I can't believe Doge is still 6 cents, 5-6 cents. I thought it was an amazing short.
Well, who's selling it right now? What's wrong with you if you're selling Doge? Well, what's wrong with you if you're buying Doge?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Mark
nobody
Cuban
knows.
supporting the price. Mark Cuban
He's
and
not,
Elon Musk.
It's not like Mark Cuban is getting a bunch of Doge from people buying Mavs tickets and then holding it. He's converting that to USD immediately.
Well, yeah, but it's still in his best interest to support the entire ecosystem. So, Tyler,
I don't know if that's what's happening.
What do you think's happening?
I think Mark Cuban is going to participate. Mark Cuban has been doing the podcast circle lately.
Yeah, he has.
Big time.
And Mark Cuban is one of those guys that he doesn't try to hide behind smoke and mirrors. Like, he's who he is. He like says exactly what he thinks, and he tries to put you in a position to see what you do. You know, he wants to watch you squirm. And he is jumping on the DeFi bandwagon. He's jumping on the NFT bandwagon. Even the people that are advising him are unhappy about the NFT bandwagon that he's jumping on, but he's doing it. Like, he wants to be Michael Saylor. Like, he is upset that he is not crypto god. And he sees that Elon's crypto god. He sees that Michael Saylor's crypto god. And he's like, all right, I went in on this. So, like, I think that him and Elon are on the Doge train together. Like, I could see that being a thing. He's watching Elon. He knows Elon. He knows personalities. He sees that Elon is not going to let Doge die, and he's like, well, okay. If Elon's going to put his backing behind it and going to have developing behind it, then I want some of it, you know. But I don't want to spend my money on it. So why don't I let other people spend their money on it and give it to me for something that I just print on a piece of paper and give to them? Like, it doesn't cost me hardly anything, and they're spending their money and they're giving it to me in Doge, and it's going to appreciate. Like, so I think Cuban's on the Doge train.
Talk to me above 7 cents. You know, if we clear this resistance.
Okay, Morgan Stanley.
Yeah, I'll
talk to you when it hits 7 cents and all the smart money is already in.
I mean, that's fine. Like, if the smart money is getting in right here, right now, then they're gonna pump it to whatever, you know, 25 or however many, 50 cents. I don't know. It's just,
well, and that's a good point. Like, think about, like, I mean, with the amount of money flowing into Bitcoin, like, whenever that, like, whenever the levy breaks, you know, like, something like Doge, that could be $1. Like, probably not for any good reason or for long, but how much money would it take for that to happen? Just a couple of big believers in investing in that or putting their capital allocation in that.
Well, I may be foolish, but I just doubled my position.
I know you were doing something. I saw you over there on mute, working on your phone. That's great.
Are you guys as bullish on alts as I am for April specifically? Like FBTC, for instance. There's some movement, you know, like we've seen a nice pump over the last couple of days, or nice, maybe not a pump, but like price appreciation a little bit. We're still not out of the clear. I think we need to clear this 3.5 area. But yeah, like I'm just gonna kind of flip through some stuff. This is the pitchfork I was talking about. I think this was last week. No, this was last week. Oh, we did rebound just once or twice more. HNT is looking beautiful, just flying high. Zcash is really looking great as well. AGI is probably the most bullish. I mean, just look at this. This just looks like it's coiling. RSR has had some good, you know, pretty much everything looks really good. One thing just to mention, again, Sol, I don't know why. I'm just a little like, I'm scared of Sol. Like, honestly, I'm not really sure what to do with Solana. Seeing Dot and Kusama like perform the way they have performed, I anticipate Solana doing something similar. But I'm just like, I'm just scared of it because Sam has become a meme at this point. It's like everything he does just touches gold or turns into gold, and I just feel like that can't last. He's gonna dump on everybody. He's not Elon. Who knows? Elon's probably dumping on everybody too. But like, yeah, he just he's in it for the money, and yeah, we're kind of at this resistance level again. I don't know. I want to say we're going to go to all-time highs, but I just, what do you guys think about taking profit here? Our sell level is over here, I think, at all-time highs. So that would be 15%. Right now we're at 25%, so maybe not in favor of that, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I guess I'm generally confused on your logic here. Like, you're scared of it. You think it's going to make a move like Kusama Polka Dot, but you want to sell it right now.
Yeah. Mainly because of the amount of hype he's generating. Yeah, Kusama is obviously the one that's performed the best. Dot has performed decently, but not quite on the same level. Yeah, I don't know how to read Sol. Is the main thing I'm getting at here, and I'm a little nervous. We've taken profit once on the way up, and so like, I'm just trying to think, like, would it be? I don't know. I don't have a good read on Sol. The FTX announcement for FTX Arena has definitely given me something to think about. And then this seems like manufactured. Seems like a little manipulated. This move right here. That being said, we're consolidating at resistance, which is pretty bullish to me. But yeah, I'm just a little. I don't know how to read Sol right now.
So, here's my thing on Sol. The joke is that Sol is, it's Ethereum for white guys, and basically, my thing is, I think they're gonna make Sol so easy to use and so fast and so cheap that it's going to make it to where people who do excellent UI UX, like people who have money, are going to be able to pay people who have excellent UI UX and just build applications on top of Sol and not have to worry about the gas, not have to worry about all of the complicated parts of other blockchains, and interacting with them, the learning curve. Having somebody like Sam who's gonna have a team of people like Ren, like I'm a Dart node holder, and everybody is so excited about how fast Sam delivers code. Like, or not just Sam, but like the people that he's got around him. They deliver code at an unreal pace, and it's flawless, and it just works, and it works well. And Solana seems super easy to integrate with. And so the thing is like, I don't think, like, there's part of me that believes that Sam wants to take everybody's money. But then there's another part of me that believes that, like, he's not going to let something that he's behind fail. Like, letting something that he's behind fail is like, I think that's at the fiber of his being, because it's for him to do what he needs to do, he needs to be an altruistic, morally superior individual. And for him to maintain that, then the people who support the things that he's behind have to succeed, right? Like, there only has to be goodwill in the universe for Sam. So that's my thing on Sol, is like, I don't think Sam's going to let it fail. And he's market making so many of these other pairs on so many of these other competitor chains. Like he's market making things on Avalanche. He's market making things on Polkadot. He's market making things on Ethereum. He can crash all that stuff and pull the money into his ecosystem. So I'm with you. It's scary because I'm with you. I've had that thought multiple times. Like, what if we just sold Solana? Like, because I'm scared of Sam. He's smarter than I am. He's smarter than
100%.
everybody. But he also can vampire attack any ecosystem in crypto. And on the Soul train, where I'm scared of Soul, I would like to take our sell orders off Sushi altogether. Because Sushi is set up to eat the world. Like, I'm not even talking about technically. I haven't even looked at the chart. I'm just saying fundamentally, Sushi is set up to consume everything.
Why do you say that?
I mean, you're going to be able to trade. You're going to be able to trade any type of coin from any type of chain. You're going to be able to do ICOs, crowdfunding. I mean, it's gonna be all of it. Just a whole ecosystem.
Is that not Ethereum?
Well, but it's going to be multi-chain.
And for white guys.
Not so. Are we not allowed, Rishi? Like you and me? Just
I haven't put. I don't know.
I'll get you the invite code. I'll get you. You just got to use my left link.
You just gotta have a buddy.
cool. I'm glad we got you, Tyler.
I'll send you some plaid shirts.
Please, flannel only. So I guess coming back to my broader question, I'm fine not selling Sol, mainly because like I'm super bullish on alts. And are you guys as bullish on alts for April, or is it what? Yeah, what are you guys seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I like alts, especially right now. I don't know about April. I mean, I assume you mean just like for the next few weeks, the next month. And yeah, I like alts. I like Bitcoin between 50 and 60 still. I mean, it could go a little bit higher, but maybe 55, 65, which means that there should be plenty of spillover into alts with all this money flowing into the markets. I can't tell you how many times I heard people in so many different situations talking about what they did with their stimulus money. And they all bought sneakers. Everybody bought new shoes. Everybody went and bought sneakers with their stimulus checks. I'm serious. Like I ran into so many people like out in public, and I overheard conversations of people being like, "Oh, I like your Adidas," or "Oh, I like your kicks." It's like, "Oh yeah, stimmy baby," and I was just like, "Wow!" And then I saw like some reports of like athletic apparel and stuff just like took a big notch or two up, like in a pretty significant way when stimulus checks hit. So, now we've got $1 trillion, stimulus stuff, more money being printed, and there's just too much money floating around already. People are buying houses. Regular people are buying houses with cash. It's going to be a fun ride for everybody. It's going to end really badly for a lot of you, like probably most people who are along for the ride, but you got to be really smart and you can't get caught up in it. But yeah, I think with all that money coming in, and nobody here is really kind of saying that we're going to 150K in Bitcoin right now. So, I mean, really kind of like the mental cap, I think that we're kind of working with here is like in that, 65, 75, 80, maybe, like anybody even saying 100. So with the amount of money coming in, and if Bitcoin doesn't go to 100, then yeah, alts should have like plenty of the liquidity, like we know what happens when there's liquidity. And with all the money flowing in, if the price of Bitcoin doesn't go up, that liquidity's got to go somewhere. So I think alts, that could be a pretty good bet.
Tyler?
Yeah, I think alts are poised. They appear like they're poised to run. It would defy everything that I thought was going to happen about this year if alts run April, May, and that's fine. I'm fine with being wrong. That makes me a lot more money, but it would be devastating to me, and I guess like it'd be devastating to a lot of people if alts crashed here. Which I hope it doesn't happen. That's not what the charts are saying. All the charts look bullish. Bitcoin looks bullish. Everything looks bullish. There's no reason. I mean, there's all these undertones of governments looking to ban Bitcoin, and people are coming out saying it's a Ponzi again. We're going to probably see some ETFs applied for and denied. Ripple paid $100 million fine to the SEC. So, who's to say that there's not this narrative that, that's going to get pushed around that Ripple's the golden standard again and that everything else is going to be illegal. So, like, I think that there's a potential that April could be a down month because it just looks so bullish, like almost like a mirage. But what all the charts are saying, like, is that we're about to see parabolic growth everywhere, and everything's about to just make new all-time highs or go and test against and try to break through resistance. Helium, let me, share that real quick.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was just about to see if you guys wanted to take some time to talk about that. I'd love to take a look at that on a USD basis and kind of see what we think is going to happen here.
So here's the thing, right? Is that, like, I think we go parabolic soon because USD has been the dominant force in Helium for a long time. I remember when we first started talking about Helium, I noticed that you could successfully swing trade Helium during US off and on hours because it was so US concentrated that, like, when the US was asleep, that the price would go up, and when the US was awake, the price would go down. It would sell back down. And so it started expanding to Europe, and now we're expanding into China. And I think what we're probably about to see is the separation from the Helium US dollar pair to a Helium Bitcoin pair in the near future. But I mean, this has just been a perfect parabolic growth trend. It's beautiful, and it's I don't know when we go, but it's just looking like it's getting ready.
So you think we get ahead of that? Think we break out, or you think we follow what you have drawn here?
No, I think we do like what you said last time we talked. I think like I thought that this was plenty parabolic when we talked, and when you said that you thought it was going to go sooner, I thought, I don't know, because this is June. This seems really far out, but it's really not. It's just 3 months away. Like this is June 3rd, which this puts this right around the validator launch a couple months before halving. So, I wouldn't say that this doesn't just keep following the parabola. Like that wouldn't be insane, right? Like to the outsider looking in, it would feel insane, but like this project is like monumental. You know, like you could shut down Bitcoin, you could shut down ETH, and Helium's still a thing. You know, and it doesn't break any of the rules or laws or any of the other stuff that they could go after Bitcoin and Ethereum for. So like this really isn't that crazy. But with Chinese miners shipping, and I could see us front running,
Yes.
and you know maybe hitting like 150 in April. I mean, like that would be insane. That'd be mind blowing. But you know, if you look at it, let's see, let's duplicate. I mean, let's look at it versus Bitcoin and just see what it looks like. See, it's not near as clean, but it's also getting ready to blow off the top against Bitcoin. See, it retested. That's it. And like, I haven't looked at this chart in I don't know how long, but it retested here. It's where my chart stops.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, what is that? That's that's 3x? No, 2.5x against Bitcoin. Puts us at like $40, $30, $40 helium in the next short while if we really try to make a run to this. I don't know. I'm just mega bullish on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bullish too. You know, from a project perspective, and then just from a token economics perspective too, because you've got validators, which is good for the network. You've got the expansion that's happening right now into China and all over. You know, the ability for the network to grow due to just kind of like some of those internal hardware developments, and a number of events that are up ahead in the next, let's say, 6 months, over the next 6 months, that generally can be, you know, you can summarize them as supply limiters. You know, different things that affect the supply by limiting, you know, the actual supply of this thing, in a sense that like the demand is increasing continuously and the liquidity will increase and it will kind of unlock. We'll see it on different exchanges. We'll see the adoption of BTC pairs as the primary mechanism, like Tyler said, but also like the actual supply floating and becoming available is going to decline, I believe, very, very rapidly. I think most people are underestimating the amount of supply that comes off, or that leaves wallets and gets locked up as a part of validators. And you know, a lot of people aren't aware or truly understanding of the effect of a halving with the demand increase that's already there. You know, right now there's not even a lot of people that know about this. It's not really, nobody even knows about it. So the catalyst compared to the supply, you know, and lastly, just know it, looking into it all, the way that this HNT token truly operates is that the limit on the supply, the thing that caps the supply, is actually the use of the network. And so as this network is used more, including the expansion of the network, because that is part use, you're gonna have to cap and burn HNT to actually expand the network. So it's a hugely exponential effect when it comes to the limitation of the supply going forward. And so if you just hold everything else constant and look at the supply, should be really bullish. if you hold everything constant and look at the demand, you should be extremely bullish. And if you hold everything else constant and look at the liquidity going forward, you should be extremely bullish. So, you know, I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm mega bullish as well. But I just don't know when and how. And I think that, you know, I could see a lot of different things kind of happening without anybody really anticipating them. I mean, we know all the things that can happen, but I think it's going to be one of those things where you just wake up one morning and you're like, oh, okay, yep, that box was checked. And so that stair step, that unlocking of value, I think will probably kick us out of that parabola that you had, Tyler. But I think we'll probably adjust back at various points and attach ourselves to that, because I do think that long-term kind of July, August type of thing is kind of hard to believe there. But if you look at the next month or two without catalysts, that makes sense. With catalysts, it's just going to be extremely volatile. You know, when, you know, it's one thing to break the top 100 market cap. It's another thing to, you know, to get a Coinbase listing, and all these things are just, you never know. You never know when and how. But
well,
yeah, this thing has a floor.
I think what you said is the catalyst, right? Like, I don't know of any other. I'm sure there are other blockchain networks that are a proof of work, proof of stake hybrid. Like, you know, I don't know if Komodo's that way or not, but I don't know of any blockchain ecosystem that has the community backing and network effect of Helium, that has a live proof of work running, that is doubling in mining power like every so many months, and the supply is constantly increasing, but then proof of stake is going to go live, and it's not going to change the increase in supply. The supply is actually going to decrease, and the number of miners are going to increase. And just this situation, this has never occurred in crypto or in the world. And so it's like, we're going to see this, like, I mean, I guess gold, right? Like, proof of work and proof of stake. You know, you can make money mining it, or you can make money like lending it out, holding it, you know, to keeping it at the vault, whatever. I mean, I guess you got to pay for that, but this is just like, this is like never. I mean, I can't think of an example that we could compare it to. And so I think when you have things like that, that like it can go outside of the realm of possibility, because you don't understand the possibility because you don't understand the circumstances.
So anybody who's watching this, go out and buy Helium, is basically what we're saying. All 5 of you guys who watch this, 3 of them being us, go out and buy Helium.
Yeah, the struggle is, where do you get it? You got to go, if you want to go buy Helium, you got to get on Binance US, right? Well, if you're in the United States. If you're not, then you can go Binance.com.
Is it on Blockfolio? It's on FTX.
It is on FTX. So what about like KuCoin and stuff?
I don't think it's on.
Did you guys watch that video that I think Frank maybe posted? What did Sam really say? Like, don't worry about breathing oxygen, just buy Helium or something like that? Like,
yeah. So that's a guy. His name is Noah Kagan. He was an older Facebook. He was like one of the first 15 Facebook employees. I was talking to him back like 10 years ago, just on my computer, giving him ideas on what to incorporate into Facebook when Facebook first launched before it turned into a super evil megacorp. But he actually got fired from Facebook, wrote a book on it, or like gave a bunch of speeches and told his story and how he lost millions of dollars, getting fired after being one of the first Facebook people. But he's gone on to kind of create a bunch of new products, and I've kind of talked to him every now and then. It's probably been a couple of years since I talked to him, caught up with him or whatever. But he started a company called AppSumo or something like that, and just did a whole bunch of stuff. And now he's into crypto, believe it or not. Now he's kind of doing a bunch of like sharing his insights and all that kind of stuff. And he created a video called, I think it was something along the lines of my entire $2 million crypto portfolio. And he just went, I guess in the video, he just went through like all of the stuff that he was into and explained why, just like very briefly, kind of gave a project description and like the story behind why he's invested in it. And one of his actual, coins is HNT. And I was like, okay. And so I believe that's what was referenced. And so I went and watched just that little part. The funny thing is he got it completely wrong. He really knows absolutely nothing about helium because he thinks it's Wi-Fi. So, but like, that's the thing. It's like, that's all people need to know. And if that's what they think, what are the potential ramifications of that when people go looking into it? So that could be actually something accidentally bullish, but it is easier to understand if you make that mistake. But anyway, he went on to explain, kind of the whole setup appropriately, except for just not understanding it was about IoT at this point. So that's really what that was about. But here's the thing. That was the first time I've seen it being mentioned as a part of a broader portfolio where somebody was putting it out there. And this person is very, very well connected in Silicon Valley, very, very well connected in, some inner crypto circles, just from an exposure standpoint. So you're going to see a lot more of that. You're going to see a lot more videos of top 10 crypto projects of the future, 2021, like, fill your bags with this type videos and promotions. And you're probably going to have some celebrities doing different things. And we'll just see, the way that this goes. Tron likes to go do things a certain way. And then, there's other ways of doing things as well. But who's going to start pumping this stuff? Who's going to start putting it out there? It was interesting to see that first video and to see that was Noah. I was like, man, this guy's doing crypto stuff. Small world. But it's funny though. I will say this, like, it's just kind of how it goes. I mean, like, we've been talking about Bitcoin for years and years and years and years. Like, we're over here telling our, friends about it, and parents about it, and pitching it to business people. And, at the same time, you've got Jamie Dimon shitting all over it, saying, it's a complete scam, fraudulent, will never, ever be involved in that. You'd be a moron to put your money into that, and then, you end up front running a Morgan Stanley, they make an announcement that they're going to start making Bitcoin products available to their wealthy investors. I think when the world kind of wakes up and kind of looks at what the possibilities are of some of the things that like are out there right now, like everything that was out there at the end of 2017 was like some money related product, some currency related blockchain type thing. Not everything, but like most everything was. It was all about like diversifying into different crypto opportunities and different crypto systems and different monetary treatments and different economic, setups that were different from like this Federal Reserve and different from Bitcoin. And like, what can you do with money? You know, the internet of money. But now blockchain is being applied to all sorts of different stuff, like wireless communication and artificial intelligence. And I mean, it's just pretty awesome.
And thick Pikachus.
Thick Pikachus.
Yeah, can't forget them thick Pikachus.
No, but I did see something. So, like, one of my jobs before I went full time into crypto was automation sales, and one of the leading brands in automation sales was Rockwell Automation. They owned Allen Bradley, and Allen Bradley made programmable logic controllers, which are like the brains for machinery. So you go to any of these big processing factories, no matter what they're making, no matter what they're processing, the machinery, the equipment that's doing whatever action is being done is being processed through a programmable logic controller. And that was one of the things that led me to see the value in Ethereum was the transactional occurrences of just the everyday world that happen between machines that we don't ever see. And one of the inefficiencies I saw was that the Allen Bradley guy would come and sell the hardware and train the software, but the person that was programming the software to actually do the processes either had like a high school or a trade school education. And I'm not knocking those people, but there were high inefficiencies in the way they would batch the processes for production. And so I always thought it'd be really cool if one of these companies that made this hardware software combo launched their own token, and then they could contract out, developers who could create batches, like create processes for companies, and then receive a per transaction commission in the coin of that company. And I saw something in one of the chats that I'm in the other day today regarding Rockwell Automation, in regards to like Ethereum transactions. And I don't think they're doing anything yet, but it just made me realize that, like, if there are ever any token sales offered by automation hardware providers, we've got to participate. Like, that's the biggest network effect there is from a computational transactional perspective. I mean, it's happening every second, everywhere.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'd be down with that. I just want all my alts to fucking moon.
What do we think about NFTs? Have we peaked in this little phase that we're in, or is the market maturing? I feel like the whole world got educated really, really quickly on what NFTs are ever since digital art just kind of was the first use case example that kind of blew up. And parents and old people and people who follow where money's going, we're all wondering why their kids are all participating in this online marketplace and the dollar amounts that are associated with it. And so, I've seen stuff on PBS and CNBC about what's an NFT, and like dumbing it down for people to where really everybody can kind of grasp the concept. And so in some ways I feel like we've okayed the concept of digital art and given it a floor value. And then in some ways it's kind of like, well, at any point in time, the whole concept of digital art can be devalued again. And probably will be from these levels still at some point, because the art's not that great. I mean, not all of it. Some of it's cool. Some of it should be valued. I mean, it's all up to whoever's, But I think that where we are, for me, still feels frothy. I don't know if we're going to see another resurgence that'll push us higher, and this whole if we're just continuing to move forward with it, or if things have cooled off. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, it's still pretty early to call it top, I would say. I don't think anything's going to sell for $69 million anytime soon. But, and I do genuinely agree with you that like a lot of this art, there's really nothing special about it. It is just, it's just this kind of phase, this fad. And those things will come around every couple cycles and who knows how long. It's just positioning yourself. If you're going to buy NFTs, it's like, one, you have to like it first. If you don't like it, don't buy it. And then secondly, it's like, are you okay with it being super illiquid for long periods of time and then suddenly being worth a shit ton? So that's kind of how I view the NFT market for art specifically. But, NFTs are still very new things, and I think there's still going to be much more that's done with them than just art. The use cases for them are still being explored right now. So I think it's really kind of early to say it's a top, or to call it top for all NFTs. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand. But did you guys see the SNL skit on NFTs?
No, I did not catch that.
Yeah, there's a 3-minute skit. It was pretty well done. I was pretty pleased, and I thought it made a lot of sense. But I know we got to wrap up soon. Just wanted to touch on some other news that happened this week with regards to Ethereum and Visa. Did you guys see that news?
Ethereum and Visa?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Really?
You're talking about selling USDC transactions on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the NFTs, so I don't think we're near the top, because the thing is right now NFTs are protecting GAN modeling, and GAN is like an AI technique about trying to take in all these different things and then creating unique regression models and putting out all these different unique outputs, which are super, super, super cool and are going to be super, super useful for applications that we don't even understand yet. And so right now NFTs are like where that innovation is occurring fast. And so I think the bubble's not done. Also, all these other platforms are trying to capitalize on the NFT bubble. So Tezos is trying to come out with their NFTs. Tron's trying to come out with their NFTs. Solana's going to be doing NFTs. Polkadot, I listened to Gavin Wood talk today about Rococo and other things from Stockholm, and he's wanting to create an NFT platform, a parachain on Polkadot, and he expects that to be live soon. He thinks that there are actually several groups that are working on different NFT platforms, different NFT exchanges, and he I think the NFTs are like, what we're going to see is there are going to be certain collections that hold tremendous value, and like hash masks and CryptoPunks. And then there are going to be all these knockoffs that get created around these things that are going to hold value to get people to sell those things to buy these other things. And then these other things are going to crash in price, which is going to cause the hash masks and the CryptoPunks to go down in value, which is going to cause the real collectors to be able to scoop up those hash masks and the CryptoPunks for cheap, because all of the competitors' prices are also going down. But what's going to happen is all of these different blockchains that host NFTs are working on exchanges that support a base price for a collection. So like if you wanted to get out of your hash mask, or you wanted to get out of your 3D punk, or you wanted to get out of your crypto punk, or you wanted to get out of your thick Pokemon, you would be able to sell it for a base minimum price at any given time to the exchange, so somebody else could come and buy it. So liquidity is going to be coming to all of these NFT platforms like relatively shortly. So I think we could see a dip in a lot of different like NFT art projects, but like for these NFT based tokens, NFT platforms, NFT exchanges, and these super rare NFTs from each collection, they're going to hold their value, and they're going to keep going up in value because people want things that are rare. People want things that are scarce. And like even these unsuccessful NFT projects, the rare stuff is still bought up, and like if it ever gets priced low enough, somebody snatches it up.
Yeah, I think like you said, I mean, I think it's to some degree it's not even about the art or the collectible itself. I mean, to a higher degree, to a second layer it is, but the first thing is about the publisher, right? It's about the story, the narrative. What is it? And some of these originals, like CryptoPunks and, or just like any of the cool stuff, the first stuff, that will always kind of be considered, that original. Everything else will be kind of considered a knockoff. But like what gives it authenticity is like what gave it authenticity in the first place, which is why it was either first, or it was like the most popular, or it's what everybody got around or got behind. And so, it's about the story and the narrative and the artist and like why you wanted it in the first place. Then it becomes about like who had it, right? Just like any collectible. It's like, oh, okay, this was, Woody Harrelson's mansion, or this is where Elvis played every Friday night, and so that's kind of like, oh yeah, this was somebody paid $69 million for this back in 2021. But would you rather? And one of the examples was, would you rather own a video clip, a sports clip, right? 1 of 10, published by or put out there by Patrick Mahomes himself, or by like some trading card company or ESPN or Sports Center Films or whatever, putting out 10 clips of Patrick Mahomes official for the 2021 season, or 10 clips, of Aaron Rodgers. They're going to do that too. So like you as a purchaser or a buyer, would you rather own the ones that Patrick Mahomes put out of himself, or would you rather own the ones that, some publishing platform, media platform put out of Patrick Mahomes? Now that's up to you as a purchaser, but we're not even talking about what the clips are. Assume they're cool clips of a touchdown or a, awesome sideways throw or something like that. But, like that's the whole thing. So I feel like overall,
you also have though, like I agree with you to an extent, but then you also have to take into account things like super rare, right? Where it's like you're not just buying a trading card, you're actually buying a character that you can use to play in a game, in an ecosystem. Like, and that's one of the cool things about NFTs is like now you're not just buying a trading card, you're actually buying a player for your team.
Yeah, the depth to NFTs is yet to be explored. And I think that's kind of the exciting thing is like we've cracked open this shell of NFTs and we're still trying to figure out like what all's inside. But it's pretty exciting. And I think the digital art, just like, the JPEG NFTs, I think they'll be innovated. I think people will add sound and movement and, different things to make this art actually stand out. And I think that'll kind of be the next phase. But yeah, guys, any final thoughts? We do need to wrap up.
Long your lungs.
Cool. All right, fellas.
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
100 times leverage or bust. That's it. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
All right, later, guys.